Hi everyone, welcome back to Stencil Saturday. This week we are going to do, I only marked out obviously a small portion, but I'm thinking this would be really cool for a quilt border. So obviously this is just one section of it. You would mark it and repeat. And what I used to mark this was my Nested Hexagon Stencil. And I just lined it up with the edge. So on the stencil there, you can see that, there are full-size hexagons. So I lined it up with where this point begins down on the edge, which we can imagine would be the border, and marked simply the little posts. I'm thinking that it'll be kind of like a picket fence is what I'm thinking. I have a really cute little panel that I want to quilt as a gift, and I've been trying to figure out how to do it. It has some florals and stuff like that, and I thought that this might be something, so we're going to try it this week. So I'm feeling like if I just do this, it looks like the top of a picket fence, and then I think I'll echo in there, maybe a 1/4 inch, maybe put a couple of, I don't know, maybe kind of some back and forth lines. It would make it kind of wood grainish. And then in the center, you can see I just grabbed a chalk pencil and marked this wavy line. And then I'm going to put like some leaves, nice flowing string of leaves around there. So let's go ahead and get started. And because this one, this would be the, I have the edge right here, but so I'm going to go ahead and start right here. Generally, if you were working across the whole border, you would probably start up here. And I will say this one might possibly be a little tricky to figure out a corner for. So probably what I would do, because in my case, I'm going to use this on a panel type piece of fabric that has flowers, I would choose to do like a big, instead of trying to turn the corner with these, because that could be tricky depending on the size of your border. In my head, it would be much simpler to simply either put maybe a wreath of these leaves that we're going to put in the center, or I would probably actually go for a big flower to fill the corner with maybe a couple of leaves to kind of bring it all together, make it cohesive. Because I feel like as long as you have the same thing in all 4 corners and it matches the design you've used, it's a really simple way to avoid having to do the math of figuring out the border. So let's go ahead and, you know what, let me get a smaller ruler here, I think. And we're just going to stitch this. Now what I'm going to go ahead and do is just stitch out to the edge and then back. And it's really easy to do if you just make sure that you just don't move that ruler. And of course I would do this the whole length of the quilt if it were a border. And then I'm going to come back in here. Let's do a 1/2 inch. I'm not the best at judging that. That's not terribly bad. And just echo this. And then this is where you can put whatever you'd like in here. You might choose to do maybe just some straight lines, but I don't want them to have to mark that, and I would feel the need for them to be evenly spaced. So I'm probably just going to do this. Not worrying. Again, I am not trying to make these all the same. I purposely, like there, I made a more narrow one. And then I'm going to make this next one a little bit wider, because then you don't have to worry about them all being the same. So over here, we're going to go ahead and add that echo on this one. break? No. There we go. And then get rid of this thread. And then I'm going to go ahead and do these back and forth lines again. Again, I'm varying these because I don't really want them to need to be all the same. A more narrow one. Okay, so then I would have done that on the entire one side of the border, and then we're going to come over here and we're just going to do the same thing again. And of course, again, it would be the whole length of the quilt. So we're just going to go ahead and stitch our kind of fence pickets. Go down and back up so I can continue on. Next step, of course, is to add that 1/2 inch echo. We have the awkward one here where I have to hold it. Weird. Come over to this side. Whoop. A little bit too far. And then after I did that, I would go ahead and do my little back and forth lines. Okay, so that finishes up both sides, and then we can simply go back across the center section that we have here. It's nice and open, and I'm going to add kind of leaves, maybe some swirlies in there. Of course, you can look like whatever you would like. And again, I'm not going to stitch this spine. I'm just going to let it form as I stitch the leaves. So I'm going to go ahead and put my little leaves in here. Maybe I'll put some spines in them. Because it's a nice random line, there's going to be all different sizes, which I really like. And maybe at this point is when I would add like a little swirly to fill out that big point, so I know that I have enough quilting in there. And I'll just pick back up with these leaves. And you do want to make sure that if you're going to add like those little swirls, that you do add more than maybe just a couple. I mean, you kind of want it to look as though it was meant to be there. not like maybe you just needed to fill space, if that makes sense. So here I would go ahead and put another one of those little swirls in here. And I would continue all the way to the other side of the border. So let's go ahead and have a look at that. Get rid of all of this. And I mean, I think that went pretty quick. I mean, granted, it was only a little section, but it really would be quite fast to do on a whole border. And you could even change this. Maybe you want these to be absolutely straight lines. You can do that. Maybe you want to fill this with something, and maybe you add feathers to yours, or, you know, any number of things. So let me see if we can see this a little bit better if I turn this light off. And yeah, you can. So, I mean, I think it's really pretty. So I hope you guys enjoyed that, and I'll see you next time. Bye.